94 Rocks, Jay-Z here, and I have Collin from the band Wake Me there. And first of all, got to get this right off my chest right away. I'm upset that my Wild lost to your Colorado Avalanche. Yes, I had to say it. I'm a huge hockey fan, and from what talking to you, it looks like you're a huge hockey fan too.
Yeah, I'm a huge hockey fan as well. I was following that Nuggets Timberwolves series, so I do feel like we kind of traded punches there. So you guys got that one, we got the hockey one. I'm also more of a hockey guy, so I was pretty happy about that. But man, it was a fun series. The Wild and the Avs always kind of play their top game when they're playing each other.
Well, I tell you what, so we'll finish talking hockey right here, but the Dallas Minnesota series, whoever won that was going to take on Colorado.
Mhm.
Whoever basically wins, I thought the Colorado Minnesota series is going to hoist the Stanley Cup. So, congratulations to the Avalanche for getting another Stanley Cup in their possession. And
Well,
you probably won't even lose any more games this year. So, I guess the Wild can say they did beat the Stanley Cup champion once in the playoffs.
yeah, well, knock on wood. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but I feel the same way. This is by far the best matchup I think of the whole playoffs. So
All right, let's get into the music
let's do
instead.
it. Yeah, let's
Let's
do it.
talk about the band Wake Me. And I was just telling you, I found out about you guys back in 2019. Your song "Are You Listening" was spinning on our airwaves, which, by the way, I think was one of my favorite songs at that time too. I
That's
really did
awesome.
enjoy that song. And but to talk about that and now switching over to where you are today.
Yeah, man. So that batch of songs that Are You Listening was recorded in was done out in Hollywood with a guy by the name of Eric Ron, and he's kind of a rock producer. He's worked with Godsmack and Gavin Rosdale and all kinds of big names out there. And so we kind of got lucky and got a chance to work with him and made some songs that we were super proud of. It's kind of our first dip into more of an active rock kind of radio friendly format. We wanted to make we were kind of a metal band before, and we just kind of wanted to simplify everything and focus on making good songs instead of good guitar parts. You know what I mean? So, and we accomplished that, I think. And you guys were super instrumental in getting that song out there. And thank you for playing it. But yeah, no, it was a great experience. Pandemic then hit, and we actually kind of shuffled the deck chairs on the band. Justin, who's the guitar player, we both play guitar, but he's kind of lead guitar player. He was singing, and he sang on that track, the lead vocal. But the sessions we did after that, we switched to me doing the lead vocals. So that's kind of where we've been at since probably 2020. Yeah, so that's kind of how we've been rolling, and just try to mix things up and try to find the sound, I guess.
Talk about that switching, I guess, a little bit, because that's kind of unusual for a band to sometimes to go from a front man and now all of a sudden
Mhm.
he's not the front man anymore. Now you got somebody else.
Yeah, I mean it's weird, that's for sure. And you're right. I feel like we wrestled with it for sure. Well, Justin and I both, when we were growing up, we both were lead singers of our respective bands that we were in. And so when we came together for this band, it was kind of like, well, somebody's got to be the dude. Like, so that'll be you, and that was great. And then we kind of just felt like we wanted to explore some different. I kind of have a higher register than he does, and so we were kind of just wanted a different sound, explore some different things. So yeah, I mean, I kind of got back into put the lead singer frontman jacket back on and kind of get got back into that. And it's been great. I mean, it's been fun kind of concentrating on learning the instrument, right? The voice, because I've been playing guitar forever. So it's been a great experience.
That's got to be very cool to be back at fronting a band too, especially if
Mhm.
you've done that in the past. Well, give us a little bit of your background history, I guess, and influences, and have they come into obviously creating this project, this band?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they couldn't have come in a bigger way, I think. So, yeah, played guitar since I was probably 11 years old, so it's been a long run with that, and kind of floated between, uh, Metallica and metal and Alice in Chains and stuff like that into punk and pop punk through my sort of baby writing music years, and then came back to heavy music because I fell in love with the band Thrice, And they, at the time that I was listening to them, they're kind of like this post-hardcore band, and they mixed metal with punk, and I didn't even know you could do that. So it was kind of like my two things that I liked, and it just, epiphany. And as it turns out, when I met Justin, that was one of the things. His favorite band was Thrice, and so we totally just connected over that. And when we started making music, it was like we were trying to recreate that sound. So it was, heavily influenced by that band, and really a bunch of post-hardcore bands of the day. So we kind of started things in sort of more of a metal, like technical, kind of mathy, way with our songs. And eventually we decided that we wanted to get good at, instead of, having people be impressed with how good of a player, how good of players we were on these songs. It's like, well, let's focus on making good songs instead. Like that's hard. It's hard to make a noodly guitar part, but it's also hard to put together just like a good cohesive song that has memorable moments. So we focused on that for a number of years, and that's kind of how we got to the sound we are today.
It's interesting because when we started the conversation, and I didn't really know this, you were heavier sounding, and so
Yeah.
then you kind of switched over to be more radio friendly. But radio now is becoming more heavy again.
Yeah,
So are you
you're
kind of
right.
going back to the original roots?
That's it. It's interesting you say that. So yeah, I feel like with this current project we're working on with our full length album here, we went into it feeling like we had sort of gotten a handle on writing the songs part, and so now we were like, well, can we get maybe a little bit of that heavier flavor back into what we're doing? And so we totally approached it from that angle, and I do think there's a lot. The vocals are a lot heavier on this new stuff that we're writing. Uh, well, this new stuff we're releasing, and you'll hear it in the track "Bury It All," this single. Um, just a lot more aggressive vocals, and I think we wanted to also bring back a little aggression in the guitars as well. And yeah, like you say, that's actually kind of taken off right now in rock, which is great because it sort of allows you to get back to a little bit of what made you excited about heavy, rock and metal.
How refreshing is that for an artist to have that now, I guess, more wide open, more accepting than maybe it was 10, 20 years ago?
I think it's awesome. It's you get to you can start feeling a little stale if you're trying to fit in this box. It's one thing to figure out what is the box, and that's what we were trying to do, right? What is this? How do we arrange the songs to be just to flow better and sound more cohesive? And so once you kind of figure that out, you kind of actually feel like you're kind of repeating so it feels formulaic a little bit. So to have the industry, or I guess just the listeners kind of be more accepting and wanting to hear just a little something a little different, you're really able to like get back into your bag of tools and try things that you may have stayed away from in the past, which is great.
Just thinking about this, the pandemic obviously was a bad thing, but maybe it was somewhat of a good thing for the rock world because I think more people started to go back and listen to things that they like. And then when they came
Mhm.
back out, they're like, let's just do it. And it's been accepted.
Totally. I also, and I don't know, I might be making this up because this is how I feel about it, but I feel like rock is coming back, and a little bit because of the pandemic. It almost feels like before the pandemic, you know, things just from a general like temperature and vibe of the country. It was like, oh, everything is awesome. We're just kind of cruising, like the economy's good, all this stuff. But then the pandemic comes, and it's like people, I think they want to hear music where it's a little bit more like aggressive, a little bit more cathartic. And I think rock has always done that.
Yeah.
Like it's been like the relief valve. You know what I mean? Like you get to express what you're angry about or what you're concerned about, or what consumes you like mentally. There's all kinds of facets that you get to explore in rock that I feel like are sometimes off limits in other genres.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. I want to get to all your stuff in just a moment here, but this is a question it's the hottest topic question right now, and you probably know what I'm going to say is AI. So,
Yeah.
what are we thinking about AI in the music industry? Wake Me's thought us of it. I guess where do you stand on it?
Well, it's complicated, right? Because on the one hand, I don't love the industry is already just full of bands making music, and that's great. But it is hard to sort of uh, stand out, and it's hard to kind of break through. There's just so much volume, and the bummer about AI is it adds to that volume in a huge way. So now it's like the people who did spend their whole lives kind of learning their instruments and working on refining the sound that they want, it makes it even tougher for them, and myself included, right? But it's also a matter of like you do spend all this time uh, perfect or trying to perfect what you're trying to execute on the guitar or vocally or on the drums or whatever. And the bummer about AI is that it is really freaking good at making really good sounding songs, right? So it can be deflating a little bit. But on the other hand, I will say this: uh, if you listen to an AI singer, they do things that are almost impossible to actually execute. But what the cool thing about it is that if you kind of use that as a tool and as a guidepost, it can unlock some things that you didn't know you could do, right? It's like you're being challenged by this computer singer who can do everything. And when you hear that, you kind of go, oh, that is really cool. I don't know if I can do that, but maybe I can, kind of thing.
Mhm.
So it's almost like it raises the bar. And for me, like I listen to a few things like that, and we use it as a tool to kind of A B some things, and it's like, oh, whoa, like is that even possible to do? And then I get into the recording booth and I'm trying stuff that I've never tried before. So it can be a tool,
Mhm.
right, for bands to kind of get better. I mean, it's we're talking hockey. It's like when you go up against a really good team, you're going to raise your game, right? Well, that's what this AI stuff is. It's like you're going up against something that might not even be humanly possible, but you got to rise to the occasion. And so that's kind of it's been an interesting experience in that respect.
Well, it is, and actually, you actually put a kind of a positive spin on it, where a lot of people are putting a negative spin on it, which I can see that because it's
Yeah,
the unknown. So
it is.
normally, when it's an unknown, you always try to poke the holes in it, right?
Right.
So, but I guess as a programmer and as a listener, the concern that I have is like, okay, there's this great song that AI puts out and everybody wants to hear it. Well, how do I then, like a band like you,
Hmm.
that's like, well, you're busting your butt, but all of a sudden it's like you got beat out by something that wasn't organic. It was
Yeah.
something that was artificial.
And that's a huge bummer. I mean, and I like that is the part of it that is, like as a band, you just that sucks. Like honestly,
Yeah.
and we know that landscape is out there, and that's what that's what it is. What I'm encouraged by is that I think there's enough um, opposition to to the AI music in terms of getting it in the marketplace and getting it into radio and getting it into Spotify and all these digital sort of streaming companies that there's a sector of the industry that's actually writing algorithms to detect AI songs. And so it's like, hey, at the very least you could let people know if it's a real human being or not, which is kind of like a warning label. It's like, hey, just if you care, this is not a real person, kind of thing. And so I feel like it at least gives people the choice, and Jay-Z, like folks like you who are in the driver's seat, like it would give
Yep.
you the choice of being like, well, I know I have all the information, and so you know I can at least do something that feels good with the knowledge of kind of what's behind it.
Yeah, I think it has to be clearly marked. That is
Yeah.
something that's going to have to in the industry. It's going to have to be like you go to the grocery store and this is organic and this is
Hmm.
not. It's the
That's
same
exactly
thing.
right.
I think you're going to have that. And then it's up to the listener to choose what they want
Hmm.
and which direction they want, but it's going to have to be labeled.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean the other side of it too. I mean, and I there are people who really dig into this to get into the weeds here, but like the legality of it, I think is pretty questionable because it's trained on music that's been put out that is
Sure.
not it's not I guess in copyright terms
Yeah.
sort of like public domain is what they call it,
Mhm.
right? So like songs that have been around for 100 years become public domain. But Breaking Benjamin, Dayseeker, all those songs, they're very much under copyright protection. So it's like, and those are the sounds that rock AI is getting trained on. So there's questionable sort of, legality going on that I think is also that's getting worked on. There are people that are really into the weeds on that.
Well, it's the wild, wild west, I
Yeah.
guess, of the music industry now, isn't it?
Right. Oh, there's no doubt about that, man. It's like we all thought that streaming was going to, change things, and it
Yeah.
did. But this is a different thing, and it's not going anywhere either.
It's
That's the other thing about it.
it's not. All right. I want to get back into the band. Obviously, Wake Me. We want to talk about obviously the new song, Bury It All. I know you just wrapped up a tour in April. How did that go, first of all?
It was great, man. It was a lot of fun. It was good to get out on the road with the guys and kind of only do shows. We're independent bands, so we kind of wear all the hats, do all the things, you know, writing songs, making music videos, doing social media, all that stuff. It's nice to get out and just have one job to play shows, So that was fun. The shows went well. Texas was great. That was kind of what we just did, a little regional thing through Texas and Colorado. But man, it was awesome. We got to meet some really great people. So that's been a lot of fun.
And what was the reaction of the new song, Bury It All?
I think it's been good so far. Yeah, it's been good. It's definitely vocally, just in sound wise, we're trying to, like we talked about, notch it up a little bit and get a little heavier. And I think the response has been really good. And it's a part of, like, conceptually what the song kind of speaks to. It really kind of ties into a whole album that we're releasing. We're doing these releases sort of one at a time, and we're going to package together a couple of EPs, and then at the end of this whole thing, we're going to just package the whole thing together as a full length album. And it sort of just, we kind of had a concept for it of philosophically, like ego death, like basically trying to work with abandoning your sense of self-importance, right? Because that kind of gets you into a lot of mental traps. And so that's sort of the overall story of the subjects we write about for all these songs. So it's all kind of connected, which has been great. We haven't really done that before.
That's cool. Very cool. All right, so let's talk about that then. So obviously singles are kind of your ways, EPs, and then
Mhm.
eventually an album. Do you kind of have a timetable on when the album's going to be? And do we have a name for the album at all that we can talk about?
Yeah, yeah. So the timing on it is going to be, I think we've got, like you said, we're going to release singles as we go, and then we'll kind of bundle those singles together in EPs and maybe throw in some bonus songs. And at the end of the whole thing, I think it's the way we have it slated out right now. It'll be sometime in March or February or March of next year that this whole cycle will be, completed. And it kind of depends on how these songs go, right? But you know, it, like I said, the if something kind of catches on, we'll delay some things and try to work with that. But basically, yeah. So the whole, and I have to pull this up now because it's been so long since we talked about it. But
That's all
the
right.
yeah, no, the whole the whole album is called the Collapse,
Okay,
and that'll actually be, we've got that title track kind of already recorded in the bag, and that'll be later on in the year that we'll release that. But the EPs will individually, there we've got the Fracture, and then I believe we have the Void. So it's kind of, we're gonna pair those together, then the whole thing will get bundled up. It'll be called the Collapse, and it'll have all the songs that we're releasing plus probably two or three ones that are fresh.
cool. And then obviously touring, you did a little bit. Are you going to try to get out here maybe in the summer, maybe some festivals? I guess what's going on?
No, absolutely. So yeah, we've got our kind of name in the hat for some festivals. We're gonna do likely a like a late summer, early fall kind of tour. Lining that up right now. So a lot of TBDs there, right? Because it's just one of those things that
Yep.
we live in an industry where nothing, something is nothing until it's something, right? So it's like until we actually have, you know, contracts signed and things like that, it's who knows what's going to actually go through. But we do have a lot of irons in the fire for touring and stuff.
Cool. Very cool. And I guess if you had to go out on a tour with somebody, who'd you love to go out with right now?
Oh man, there are so many. I mean, it like, how far up do you go, right? I mean, we're big fans of Don Broco and Bring Me the
Oh,
Horizon, and we feel like those would be great ones. We're big fans of like rock bands that we grew up with, Breaking Ben. Uh, Dayseeker is a great one.
mhm.
I think we're all pretty big fans of that band. The guy, the vocals are just phenomenal. Nothing More, that's one of my favorites. That guy just blows me away with, that whole band actually blows me away with how kind of talented they are. But yeah, I mean, those would be top picks. And then of course there's a bunch of like kind of mid-level bands that'd be great. We're actually trying to get into some conversations with some of those to see if we can put something together.
Very cool. Very cool. I got to ask a couple more questions before
Yeah,
we
man.
get going. So, what's one of the most memorable moments that you had so far in your career?
No, that's a good question. We've had a couple. We've had a couple of really big ones. One, I think it was 2017. We got to open for Of Mice and Men and Five Finger Death Punch at Red Rocks. So
Wow.
Red Rocks is, obviously
Down the road for
iconic.
you, right?
Yeah, it's not too far. It's about 30, 40 minutes from my house, but just legendary venue. It was incredible. I remember playing the set and just kind of I had a rare moment where I kind of got out of show mode and just was able to sit there and look, out onto onto the amphitheater from the stage, all the people. And it was just like, this is pretty cool. Like just take it in and be present for a second, instead of just like, dialing in on playing the songs. So that was a big one. And then I think even bigger than that probably was we opened for Avenged Sevenfold, which is kind of an all-time favorite of ours, at Ball Arena.
Oh,
So we got to play an arena show, and those guys and their crew made that show one of the best, nights of our lives, honestly. Like they were so, they treated us like we were on tour with them, and they made it like a big deal. And that we were on the show. Matt and Johnny came back and hung out in our dressing room for a while after the show and just kind of talk shop, and it was awesome. It was really just one of the best nights, really, not just of our musical careers. I think it was overall just one of the best nights of my life.
that's very cool. Very cool. And of course, we're learning a lot more about your band here in central Minnesota. But what is something about your band you think everyone should know, but they don't?
Hmm. Oh man, I've not really thought of that before. Well, I mean, I think the dual singer thing is actually one of them.
Okay. Yep.
That we have had two lead singers. We also have two lead guitar players. I don't always play guitar during the show, but we kind of do. We do a lot of trading off of riffing and everything. So if you do come to a show, one of the things that we do is Justin and I end up playing each other's guitars, like in this like weird cross formation. So I'm picking mine, but playing his, and he's doing the same, and we kind of have this little riff number lined out that we close the shows with, and I feel like that always lands well with people who don't know that we do that. So it's kind of a fun thing there.
Love it. Love it. Hey, I know we got to get going here, but if people want more information about the band, Wake Me, obviously the socials are probably the way to get it.
Oh yeah, that's the best. Wake Me Official is how you're going to find us on Instagram and TikTok, and I think we're probably the most responsive on Instagram. And we are, send us a message, man. We or leave a comment or something, because we always respond to people, and we love sort of engaging with people who get something from our music. So that's the most important thing. If we can connect with you in any way through our music, definitely hit us up because we love to have that connection.
All right. Collin, thanks so much for joining me. It's great to meet you and also learn
Likewise.
more about the band that we've been spinning here at 94 Rocks for at least 7 years. So, thank,
That is awesome.
and good luck to the Avs too. And
Yeah.
hopefully, you're hoisting the Stanley Cup in about what the end of June, I guess it would be. Maybe it'll be earlier than that because it should be sweeps, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, if everything green lights all the way, right? No, I appreciate that. And Jay-Z, and thank you guys for repping the band and spinning our songs. It's huge. We super appreciate it. And I don't want that to go kind of under the radar.
No problem, and very easy to spin your band because you've got some great music, just like the song "Bury It All." Best of luck on that one too.
Thank you.
Once again, that's Collin. I'm Jay Z. 94 Rocks.